Hey, Pat! So now that the Marvel thing's over, what's next, huh? We gonna do, like, mission?
Matt? No. I can't think about that right now. I'm so tired. All I want to do is sit here for a little while and relax.
Pat, you hate relaxing. It's like one of the top 3 things you're worst at, including probably eating anything healthy or establishing meaningful relationships.
Wait. Hold that thought. There's something I want to talk about. All right. This is more like it. So, you know what I was just thinking about? The old days of YouTube. I started this channel in 2011, and back then my main inspiration for online filmmaking wasn't any of the big classic YouTube channels. It was a smaller one that actually started putting videos online before YouTube even existed. And even now, they still have less than 60,000 subscribers. But for me, it's probably the most important channel on this entire site. I'm talking about Waverly Films, or as the channel is technically named, Waverly Flams. Alright, sit back kids, because it's time for a story. Back in my early college years, like a lot of film students, I was trying to figure out what kind of filmmaker I wanted to be, and what kind of movies I wanted to make. I was surrounded by people making very serious films. In other words, films where people lay in bed and smoke cigarettes. Classic student film stuff. When I spent a semester at a film school in Prague, this is not a joke, about 15% of the films my classmates made were about sexual assault. Why? Like, why would you want to make that? And this sort of stuff wasn't really helped by the professors, who only either made experimental video art pieces or documentaries. I didn't want to do any of that. I wanted making movies to be fun, and I wanted the movies I made to be fun. So in 2007, when my friend Jason introduced me to Waverly Films, it felt like a lifeline.
Making movies is fun, but it sure is serious business. Here at Waverly Films, we all have walkie-talkies. What's that? Hold on. I can't hear you. Just a second.
So wait, back up. What is Waverly Films anyway? Well, it was this filmmaking collective, formed by a group of former NYU film students who set up shop in Brooklyn. Now, I realize that on paper this sounds like the most cliche, insufferable kind of thing, but the guys in Waverly Films weren't hip or pretentious. What was immediately apparent about them was how unpretentious they were. They were dorky and weird and making projects that were silly and fun and energetic and imaginative. But notably, they were also successful. They were actually making a living doing music videos for artists like Fatboy Slim, Death Cab for Cutie, and The Rapture, and commercials for companies like MTV, FedEx, and Heineken. They were successful working filmmakers. Also, they got their name from the Waverly Diner just off the West 4th stop, the same place where Jake and I meet up to work on that screenplay that still isn't done. Anyway, in between those larger professional projects, Waverly Films would make what they called the Clip of the Week. Short videos that ran weekly from 2005 to 2008, and then sporadically after that. The videos were silly and cheap, made quickly with consumer digital cameras and no production values. They weren't doing these to make money. They already had film careers. They were doing them out of sheer love of making movies. So a couple days ago, I went back and rewatched all 200 or so of these videos, and you can see a clear evolution occur as they figured out what to do with this weird new medium of internet videos. They began as mostly experiments and visual gags under a minute long. Then over a couple years, they expanded into more complete narratives, usually 1 to 3 minutes long, sometimes with recurring characters. The videos are mostly comedic, but they're not quite sketches since Waverly Films were never a comedy group. They're all filmmakers and writers who happen to act in these videos. On their site, they said the purpose of the Clip of the Week was to keep their skills sharp. But it really feels more like a creative outlet, a place to put all their bizarre, silly ideas, to work fast and release something immediately. The fun of following them on a week-to-week basis back then was that you had no idea what you might get. They didn't follow any of the classic YouTube strategies. These were never parodies or mashups or anything topical or anything that seemed designed to go viral. They were all original, creative ideas. Some were based around single visual gags.
That could be anybody's finger.
No, it's my finger. I'm wiggling it.
And sometimes there would be a high production value short shot on actual film. But most of the videos fit into this middle area. Funny short films with bizarre high concepts, made with zero production values but rock-solid storytelling. These are videos like Wanna Buy a Ghost.
Wanna buy a ghost?
A ghost?
About black market dealings in Chinatown. Or That's My Face, a thriller about a plastic surgery procedure. Or Sherlock Bot and the Case of the Purloined Piggy Bank.
It's mystery time! The game is afoot.
A mystery about artificial intelligence and grief. The Werewolf Solution is a masterclass in making a locked-door thriller produced entirely within 24 hours. What's great about these videos is that as funny as they are, as weird as the premises get, they tell complete stories with really remarkable efficiency. There are setups and payoffs, plot twists and character arcs, all crammed into just a few minutes. They're reminiscent of one of the all-time great internet videos, the Duncan Brothers short film Overdrift, which is so efficient in its storytelling that it fits an entire story for a 2-hour feature film into exactly 5 minutes. If you haven't seen Overdrift, there's a link in the description. It's amazing. My personal favorite of the Waverly Films videos was the series Dino, which over several installments kept growing and escalating into strange new shapes with an increasingly dense mythology. It started as a story of a dinosaur, yes, this is a dinosaur, attacking a man named Vince Steelhammer.
Oh gosh!
But then, through multiple cliffhangers and revelations, becomes a sci-fi action epic about
war between the past and the future, and that the present day is the battleground?
Yes.
And as dumb as it might seem to analyze the filmmaking in a video as goofy and cheap as this, the chase scene in Part 2 has clearer geography and action beats than most modern action movies.
Wow, nice dino!
Part 4 adds fight sequences, superpowers, and an original song.
Oh, Dino, look at him go.
Plus, it contains one of my all-time favorite gags. The series skips from Part 2 to Part 4, and then fills in Part 3 in the recap sequence since, obviously, they couldn't afford it.
The message was revealed during the helicopter chase. Vince caught the dino and took him back home.
Waverly Films was a bunch of skilled filmmakers with cheap digital cameras having fun. There's a joy and enthusiasm to these videos. The low production values add to the charm. You can often see other members of the team editing or working in the background. The videos feel like they said, hey, let's take a break from this work and make something for fun. And watching these as a sophomore in college, they were a massive inspiration. This was the kind of stuff I wanted to be making. In the summer of 2008, I made a trip down to New York City to see The Dark Knight in IMAX, and I emailed Waverly Films to ask if I could visit their headquarters. It didn't happen, obviously, since I was just some weird rando, but that's how much of a fan I was. And clearly influenced by them, in college I made movies like Whip Smash, The New Physics Police, or that one about my sister's frustration with her high school calculus class taking the form of a monster that hunted her through a forest. The early videos on this channel are all silly short films that definitely have a Waverly influence. My group of friends in the Oberlin College Cinema Studies program were obsessed with Waverly Films, and for us, to use a strained sports metaphor, they were like our favorite college players. We were rooting for them to make it in the big leagues. We saw ourselves in these guys, so if they could make it, maybe there was hope for us too. As time went on, Waverly's output became more sporadic. The videos might only drop every month or so. We hoped this meant that big things were happening behind the scenes. And they were. In 2010, they released a video called Clown, a trailer for a fake horror movie that, as a joke, said it was directed by Eli Roth. And then Eli Roth saw it and hired writer Christopher Ford and director John Watts to turn that into an actual movie. And this kick-started their feature film careers. They followed Clown with the really good low-budget thriller Cop Car. And then, let's have a drum roll sound effect here. They made Spider-Man Homecoming.
Finally.
This was it. My boys had made it. I honestly can't tell you how happy I was when the news hit that John Watts was directing it. Now look, obviously making a blockbuster superhero movie is not the ultimate end goal of every filmmaking career, but it's definitely a benchmark of success. I wish I could go back in time to 2007 and tell myself that in 10 years, these guys will be making Spider-Man. Despite what most of the students and professors in my department seem to think, making weird, funny little movies could lead to serious filmmaking success. Like, seriously, this guy has his second Marvel movie coming out in a few months. And while I mostly focused on Watts and Ford here, the rest of the Waverly Films crew has made a bunch of cool stuff, like The Clovehitch Killer, Creative Control, Jake Schreier directed Robot and Frank, Paper Towns, and music videos for Chance the Rapper and Haim. They made it, and I'm so excited to see what they all do from here. But revisiting all these old videos got me thinking about what a different time for YouTube that was. It was the mini DV era, the time of 240p, before the algorithm, before brands took over the site. Back when no one got into YouTube to have a career or make money. They just did it for fun. I realized the irony of saying this in a sponsored video shot in 4K with professional lighting as I wax nostalgic for a simpler time on this platform. I have a career here thanks to what YouTube became. But what I really miss about those early days was that there was a place for narrative videos. Streaming video kind of killed that. Like, why would audiences watch some cheaply made short film on YouTube when they can click over to Netflix or Amazon or Hulu to watch an entire professionally made TV show? YouTube is primarily non-fiction content now, and there's less of a place for videos like the ones Waverly Films made. For me at age 20, it was exciting to find something like Waverly Films. People making fun, original stories on the internet. But now it seems so much harder for something like that to stand out and find an audience. Like, Wanna Buy a Ghost has 2.5 million views, and that seems impossible now for a video like that. I seriously wonder where current film students can find their Waverly Films. I don't have an answer for that, but I hope it can happen. But anyway, if you are new to Waverly Films and would like to get into them, my top 5 videos are the Dino series, Pick Up the Phone, Sherlock Bot, Wanna Buy a Ghost, and Snow Monster.
So that's it? You're just gonna sit on the couch and talk about old YouTube videos on YouTube to YouTube viewers?
Yeah, you know what? You have the week off. Enjoy it. I'm sure next time we'll do something unnecessarily complicated.
I'll finally take that class on basket weaving.
Also, a thing I learned earlier today, there is another Waverly Films. It is the production company of director Nancy Meyers. So next time you're watching Something's Gotta Give and you see it say a Waverly Films production, don't get confused. It's not the same people I was talking about in this video. It's not the people who made Dino and Wanna Buy a Ghost. But that said, I would love to see these guys collaborate with Nancy Meyers. I think that could be something pretty cool. If there's one main lesson to learn from Waverly Films, it's that you don't need good equipment or money to make awesome movies. You just need solid filmmaking skills. And if you're starting from scratch and want to get those skills, then you should check out Skillshare, who is sponsoring this video. So as you may have heard before, Skillshare is an online learning community with tens of thousands of classes on anything you might want to learn. So if you want to learn the basics of visual storytelling with a camera, check out the class Cinematography Basics, Understanding Filmmaking Style by Zach Mulligan. Because what's important isn't what camera you have, it's that you know how to use it to get the shots you need. And you can get 2 free months of Skillshare if you're one of the first 500 to sign up at the link in the description. So come on, sign up, learn the filmmaking basics, make cool short movies, put them on YouTube, and send them to me. Because I just got done watching every single Waverly Films video, and I need some new stuff to watch. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know why I decided to wear a suit for this anyway, but we did something a little bit smaller this week because just the last 4 videos just kind of killed me. Anyway, if you haven't heard, we have a subreddit now where you can go and, share memes and chat about these videos. It's a nice place, better than the YouTube comments section. Listen to the podcast, the Infinity Podcast. New episodes drop every Monday morning. It's in all the usual podcast places. What else? Follow me on all the social medias. If you want to help us keep making these videos and, one day be able to pay these guys like Matt and Jake, wherever they are, just check out the Patreon if you want to support us there. And that's all for now. I'll be back in 2 weeks with some cool stuff. You'll see it soon. It's cool. It's cool. It's exciting stuff. Yeah. Bye.